If you wake up every night between 3 and 5 in the morning, you are not alone. And it is no coincidence. Many people, especially after 60, live this scene in silence. You go to bed as usual, hoping for a good night's sleep. But in the middle of the night, your eyes open. Instinctively, you look at the clock. 3:15. Or perhaps it is 10 to 4. It makes no difference. Again, complete silence. The house is asleep, but you are not. You try to close your eyes, turn over, change position. You think maybe it was a nightmare, or that you simply needed the bathroom. But upon returning to bed, sleep does not return with you. Your mind begins to fill with thoughts. Your body feels awake when it ought not to be. And somewhere in the corner of your heart, a question starts to repeat itself. Why is this happening to me? What is wrong with me? But here is something nobody tells you. This pattern has a meaning. It is not mere chance, and far from being a punishment. In fact, it may be the way your body and your mind are asking you to pay attention. Today, I want to talk to you about that, about what happens inside you when you wake at these hours. We will look at what science says, what Eastern medicine teaches us, and most importantly, what you can do to reclaim your rest so that those early hours become allies rather than enemies. Because sleep should not be a problem, especially not now. After so many years, your body deserves to rest well. Your mind deserves peace, and you deserve to understand what is happening to you. So I invite you to stay with me until the end, because this video may give you the answers you have been seeking. Why is it so common to wake between 3 and 5? Waking between 3 and 5 in the morning is not uncommon. It is something that, with the years, becomes almost a pattern for many people. And although it may seem a simple coincidence, the reality is that there are several reasons behind this phenomenon. From a physiological point of view, the body changes as we age. Sleep becomes lighter, less deep. Rest phases no longer succeed one another with the same intensity or duration as in youth. It is easier for any stimulus, no matter how small, a physical discomfort, a noise, even a thought, to interrupt one's rest. Moreover, the body produces less melatonin, the hormone that regulates sleep. And as if that were not enough, cortisol, the stress hormone, begins to rise at around 4 in the morning, preparing the body for the day. If that rise happens early or is very pronounced, you wake for no apparent reason, but with your heart racing, as if your body had flipped a switch without warning. And then there is the bladder. With age, it is common for it to become more active during the night. Its capacity diminishes, and many wake simply because they feel the need to urinate. So far, everything seems to have a logical explanation, but there is more. Traditional Chinese medicine offers us a different, deeper, perhaps more symbolic perspective. According to its energy clock, each organ of the body has a time of day when it is most active. Between 3 and 5 in the morning, that organ is the lung, and just before, between 1 and 3, it is the liver's turn. In Eastern medicine, the lungs are associated with grief, with sadness, with unexpressed emotions. The liver, on the other hand, relates to anger, frustration, and the need to clear what has become stagnant. What if waking at those hours were not only about your body, but also about your soul, about what you are feeling and not saying, about what your inner self needs to release but does not know how? I recall the story of Mr. Ernest, a 79-year-old gentleman who once said to me, "I always rise at 4:15, without fail. Sometimes it is not to use the bathroom. Sometimes I am simply awake. I sit on the edge of the bed, listen to the house and begin to think, not about serious matters, just about my life, about what has passed, about what I did not do, about what I miss. And then it becomes hard to sleep again. But I do not want to get up. It is as if something inside me needs to be awake at that moment." And he is not alone. Many feel that those early hours are not just sleep interruptions. They are moments when the body seems to be processing more than mere fatigue. What your body is trying to tell you. There is one detail that completely changes how we view our nocturnal awakenings, and it is this idea: the body does not interrupt sleep without reason. Every symptom, no matter how slight, is a form of communication, a silent language we often ignore, until we learn to listen. Eastern medicine has observed the body's cycles for centuries. According to its body clock, each organ has a specific time of day when it is activated, cleansed, repaired, or simply needs attention. Between 1 and 3 in the morning, that organ is the liver, and between 3 and 5, it is the lungs. What does this mean? That if your awakenings recur within that interval, your body may be dealing with more than you think. The liver and hidden emotional burdens. The liver does not only filter physical toxins, it is also linked to the capacity to process heavy emotions such as anger, frustration, or even guilt. If you are carrying resentments, if there are things you have not said or decisions you regret, your body may be trying to help you let them go. But it does so in silence, when everything outside is still. Another factor is diet. A heavy dinner, rich in fats, sugars, or alcohol, forces the liver to work harder during the night. That extra effort can interrupt rest precisely when your body is trying to recover. So if you wake between 1 and 3, ask yourself, how am I digesting what I experienced today? How is my relationship with anger? What am I holding on to that I should release? The lungs and unspoken grief. If your awakenings occur between 3 and 5, we enter the realm of the lungs. And this is especially important. In the Eastern view, the lungs are intimately connected to deep sadness, not fleeting sadness, but that profound ache that sometimes goes unrecognized. It can stem from the loss of a loved one, from a life stage that will never return, from a loneliness that grows heavier, or simply from the sense that time passes and you do not know what to do with all that remains inside. It is no coincidence that many feel they breathe differently at night, that they experience a kind of chest tightness, a discomfort not easily explained. And precisely at those hours, when everything is silent, that sadness emerges, without a name, without a form, yet very real. It is also when the body begins to prepare to wake. Cortisol, the stress hormone, starts to rise. But if there is accumulated tension, unresolved worries, or anxiety about the future, that small rise can become a trigger that pulls you from sleep. So, what is your body telling you? Perhaps it is saying that it needs to breathe better, not just physically, but emotionally too. That it needs to release what hurts, even if you do not know how. Or that it is calling for true rest, not merely closing your eyes, but letting go of the day's weight. It is not about finding an exact cause. It is about opening a space to listen, and maybe beginning to see that awakening not as an interruption, but as an opportunity to ask, what is happening inside me that I have not wanted to face? Because when the body speaks, the soul has something to say as well. What not to do when you wake at that hour? You wake in the middle of the night. You look around. Everything is silent. You grab your phone to check the time. It is 4:10 in the morning. Again. And it is there that, often without realizing it, we begin to do exactly what we should not. First, and most common, is looking at the phone. You may think it is harmless, that checking the time does no harm. But as soon as the screen lights up, your brain wakes too. The blue light sends a clear message. It is daytime. Wake up. And even if you only wanted to see the hour, you have activated an entire system that was ready to remain asleep. After that, many fall into another trap. They start scrolling. Messages, social media, news, anything to pass the time until they fall back asleep. But actually, the only thing they achieve is pushing sleep further away, turning on lights or moving too much. Another very common mistake is switching on all the lights or getting up and moving around the house. If your body is still in rest mode, the best you can do is respect it. Bright lights and vigorous movement can disrupt your natural sleep rhythm, making it much harder to return to the calm you need. And there is something else we often do not notice: negative self-talk. That moment when you say to yourself, again, This cannot be. It is already 3:30. If I do not sleep now, I will be ruined tomorrow. Then you check the clock again and do the math. If I fall asleep now, I sleep 3 hours. Well, it is already 2:30. It is no longer worth it. I am doomed. That kind of thinking not only fails to help, it feeds the insomnia. It deepens it because it generates anxiety, and anxiety is the enemy of sleep. Eating at that hour, relief or trap. Sometimes, in an attempt to calm the body or the stomach, some people get up to eat something. And while a small bite can help in extreme cases, most of the time eating at those hours disrupts digestion, activates metabolism, and again signals to the body, it is time to be awake. A recent testimony explains this clearly. At first, I only went to the bathroom and returned to bed. But over time, I started checking my phone, replying to messages, seeing what was in the fridge. Sometimes I ate something sweet. Other times I sat and watched television. What had been a 10-minute awakening became a 2-hour vigil, and that exhausted me. Stories like this repeat more often than you imagine, because when we do not understand what is happening inside us, we fill the void with external distractions. But those distractions, even if they seem harmless, pull us away from true rest. So, what to do? First, do not panic. Waking is not a tragedy. It is a signal. If you can, keep the light dim or do not turn anything on. Avoid checking the time over and over. And above all, do not fight insomnia as if it were an enemy. What we most need at that moment is gentleness. Gentleness with the body, with our thoughts, with our soul. Later we will discuss what you can do to fall back asleep, or at the very least, find calm. For now, remember this: you are not alone, and you are not failing. You are feeling, and that, however bothersome, is also part of being alive. What to do? Routine to return to sleep. Now that we know what not to do when we wake between 3 and 5 in the morning, the most important follows: what we can do to return to deep sleep. Sometimes the body does not need a pill. It only needs a pause, a small ritual, something that tells it, I am with you. Let us rest together. Conscious breathing. Begin with the most basic yet most powerful thing: your breath. You do not need to get up or search for anything. Simply bring your attention to your chest and abdomen. Inhale slowly through your nose. Count to 4. Feel your abdomen expand. Then exhale gently through your mouth in 6 counts. Do this at least 5 times. You will notice a change. This type of breathing is not magic. It is biology. By doing it, you activate the parasympathetic nervous system, responsible for calm, digestion, rest. It is like telling your body, there is no danger, you may let go. Countdown technique. Next, if you still have not fallen back asleep, try something very simple that has worked for many older people. Begin at 100 and count backward. But do not rush. Do it calmly. 100, 99, 98. If you lose count, start again. Do not get frustrated. In fact, losing count is a good sign. Your mind is letting go of control. This exercise keeps your brain occupied without triggering emotions or stressful thoughts. It is like giving it a gentle task to engage in while you relax. Gentle stretches. If you feel tension in your body, sometimes insomnia is not mental, but physical. You can then do very gentle movements without leaving the bed. Rotate your ankles. Slowly stretch your legs. Roll your shoulders in circles. Stretch your arms overhead as if you had just woken. Do not strain yourself. Do not try to exercise. Just loosen up. Sometimes the body needs to release what it accumulated during the day. Guided visualization. Another powerful tool is visualization. Close your eyes and imagine in your mind a place where you feel completely safe and at peace. It may be a forest, a beach, your childhood home, whatever you wish. Envision it with all its details, the sounds, the scents, the color of the sky, the air on your face. Stroll through that mental place at leisure. Often, that simple visualization activates deep emotional memories that return our tranquility. A soothing infusion. If after 20 or 30 minutes your body still cannot sleep, you may rise gently and prepare a light infusion. A wonderful option is chamomile with lavender or passion flower with lemon balm. Avoid sugar. Use only a little honey if necessary. Drink that infusion as a moment of care, not urgency. It is not about forcing sleep. It is about inviting it with sweetness. Create your little ritual. The body responds very well to rituals. If every time you wake you follow the same small process, breathing, stretching, visualizing, perhaps sipping an infusion, your body will begin to associate those gestures with rest. And over time, those awakenings will not be a battle, but a tranquil pause that leads to another restorative sleep. What to do the next day if you woke between 3 and 5? It is not always possible to fall back asleep. Sometimes the body simply cannot. You wake up with that feeling of having spent the night half asleep, a bit groggy, with heavy eyelids and the day ahead. But there is good news. What you do upon waking can make the difference between dragging that fatigue or transforming it into energy for the rest of the day. Today I want to tell you what you can do from the morning onward to support yourself, step by step. First things first, do not punish yourself. Above all, be kind to yourself. Do not blame yourself for not having slept as you hoped. Do not say, "Here I go again." That only generates more tension. Breathe deeply. Be grateful that you are awake. Be grateful that you can start anew. Your body did what it could. Now is the time to accompany it. Natural light and gentle movement. As soon as you rise, open the curtains. Let daylight in. Sunlight, even on a cloudy day, tells your brain, it is daytime. Time to activate. If you can, step onto the balcony, into the garden, or simply stand by the window. Stay there for a few minutes. Look at the sky. Breathe deeply. Then move your body. This is not about intense exercise, just some gentle stretches. Raise your arms as you inhale. Roll your shoulders back. Tilt your neck from side to side. Slightly bend your knees and lift your heels. Such movement not only activates your muscles, but also wakes your lymphatic system, which helps eliminate toxins accumulated overnight. If you have time, a 15 to 20-minute walk can help immensely. It need not be brisk. What matters is signaling to your body that the day has begun. A breakfast that nourishes and balances. After an interrupted night, your body needs to restore energy intelligently. No quick sugars or excessive coffee. Opt for foods that stabilize blood sugar and are easy to digest. Oatmeal with cinnamon and a teaspoon of honey. A boiled egg with avocado on whole grain toast. A banana smoothie with plant-based milk, chia seeds, and a pinch of turmeric. Avoid very fatty or heavy foods, and if you have coffee, pair it with food, not on an empty stomach. And do not forget to hydrate. A glass of warm water with a few drops of lemon upon waking can be a great ally for digestion and circulation. Avoid a long nap. After a poor night's sleep, the temptation to nap all day is strong, but sleeping too long in the afternoon disrupts the cycle again. My recommendation? If you feel very tired, take a short nap. 15 to 20 minutes. No more. Set an alarm if needed, and try to nap before 3 in the afternoon. If you sleep later, it will be harder to fall asleep that night. Mind your mood. Lack of sleep affects not only the body, but also your emotional state. You may feel more irritable, more sensitive, or less motivated. Acknowledge it. Say softly, "I slept poorly, so I feel this way today. It is temporary." Then do something you enjoy. Listen to soft music. Call someone who uplifts you. Go for a walk. Have a soothing tea. Those small actions are emotional medicine. The next night begins in the morning. Everything you do during the day influences how you will sleep at night. Therefore, the secret lies in maintaining some calm, avoiding excesses, and preparing your body for deep rest from the moment you awaken. Think of this as an investment. Every small gesture of self-care returns well-being. Changes you can make during the day to sleep better at night. Sleeping well doesn't begin when you turn off the light. It starts many hours earlier. In fact, what you do during the day has a direct impact on how you rest at night. And if lately you've been waking between 3 and 5 in the morning, your body may be asking you for adjustments in your daily routine. Today, I want to share with you small changes you can make from the moment you wake up, which can help you enjoy deeper, more continuous sleep. Start the day with sunlight. First thing, seek natural light. When you expose yourself to the morning sun, even for just a few minutes, your brain receives a very clear message. It's daytime. That signal regulates your circadian rhythm, the body clock that tells your system when to be awake and when to prepare for sleep. It's like rebooting your system each morning. If you can walk outdoors, even better. It doesn't have to be long. 5 or 10 minutes with your face toward the sun is a great start. Be careful with naps. We mentioned this earlier, but it's worth repeating. If you slept poorly, it's natural to feel sleepy during the day. However, long naps can become part of the problem. The ideal: a short nap, no more than 20 minutes, and always before 3 in the afternoon. Sleeping longer or too late can confuse your body and make it harder to fall asleep at night. Cut back on caffeine. More than you think. Most people believe that as long as they don't have coffee after the afternoon, they're fine. But the truth is, caffeine can linger in your system for many hours. Coffee isn't the only source. Black tea, chocolate, some sodas, and even certain pain medications contain caffeine. If you're having sleep problems, try avoiding all caffeine sources from noon onward. Sometimes that change alone makes a big difference. Establish a calm evening routine. Just as children have a bedtime routine, bath, story, dim lights, adults also need signals that say, it's time to rest. 1 hour before bed, try to always do the same things. Turn off bright screens, phone, TV, computer. Dim the lights. Sip a relaxing herbal tea such as chamomile, valerian, or lavender. Listen to soft music or nature sounds. Read a gentle book by warm light. The key is repetition. The more consistent you are, the easier it will be for your body to recognize the time to wind down. Avoid tense conversations or heavy news before bed. Many have the habit of watching the news just before going to sleep. But think about this. If the last images you see are of conflict, tragedy, or stress, how can you expect your mind to relax? The same goes for family arguments or worries you carry to the pillow. Make an effort to leave all that behind. You might write down your thoughts or tomorrow's to-dos in a notebook. This frees your mind. Eat a light, early dinner, and with gratitude. Dinner matters too. Aim for something easy to digest. Gentle soups, cooked vegetables, light proteins. Avoid very fatty, spicy, or sugary foods, and try to eat at least 2 or 3 hours before bedtime. After dinner, sit quietly for a moment. Give thanks for the day. Even if it wasn't perfect, find one small thing to be grateful for. That act of gratitude also prepares your spirit for deeper rest. Frequently asked questions. When it comes to sleep, and especially waking between 3 and 5 in the morning, many doubts arise. Some repeat over and over, and today I want to answer them clearly. Is it dangerous to always wake at the same hour? Not necessarily, but it is a signal. Waking consistently in the same time window, like between 3 and 5 in the morning, is a clue that something inside you needs attention. It could be physical, a digestive imbalance, liver tension, or the need to use the bathroom. Or it could be emotional, worry, bottled up sadness, unprocessed anxiety. Your body isn't attacking you, it's alerting you. The key: don't panic. Observe. Note whether it happens every night or only occasionally. And if it persists, consult a professional to rule out medical causes. What if I can't fall back asleep? First, breathe. It's not the end of the world. We've all been there. The important thing is not to panic or get frustrated. That only ramps up brain activity and makes sleep harder. If you haven't dozed off after about 20 minutes, try this. Rise silently. Move to another low-light area. Read something calm or listen to soft music. Avoid screens. Often, simply changing your environment helps your body relax, and you can return to bed feeling lighter. And if sleep still doesn't come, try embracing the quiet. Sometimes resting in stillness is restorative too. How much sleep do I really need at this age? There's no one-size-fits-all answer, but there's a healthy range. After 60 years, most people need between 6 and 8 hours of sleep per night. Not necessarily uninterrupted. Fragmented sleep at this age is completely normal. What matters is how you feel the next day. Do you wake with energy? Can you function without urgently needing more sleep? If so, you're likely resting enough, even if you wake a couple of times at night. Is it better to stay in bed or get up? It depends on how you feel. If you wake and sense you can drift off soon, stay put. Breathe, relax your body, and limit movement. Often waiting without anxiety is enough to fall back asleep. But if 20 minutes pass and your mind keeps racing, it can be better to get up for a while. The key is maintaining a calm, gentle environment. And remember, getting up isn't a failure. It's a way of caring for yourself. Should I take something to sleep? This question is common. The answer, only if truly necessary and under professional guidance. Taking a sleep aid, natural or prescription, should be an informed decision, not a habit born of desperation. Sometimes a mild herbal tea like valerian, passionflower, or chamomile can help. But if you already take medications or have health conditions, consult your doctor or pharmacist first. And most importantly, don't rely on pills as a permanent fix. The goal is to uncover the root cause of your awakenings and address it. Waking between 3 and 5 in the morning is not a sentence nor a failure of your body. It is no coincidence, it is not punishment, and it is certainly no reason to surrender to insomnia. It is an opportunity, an open door whispering, something inside you needs to be heard. Throughout this video, we've seen that those early hours have their own language. Sometimes they speak of hidden emotions, other times of habits that need changing, and sometimes simply of a life stage that invites us to sleep differently, not worse. The bottom line, waking up is not the problem. What you do after you open your eyes is what changes everything. You don't have to resign yourself to poor sleep or believe it's just part of getting older. You can take action. You can learn to comfort yourself in those silent moments. You can build routines that soothe your mind, relax your body, and nourish your rest. Sleeping well is not a luxury. It is part of your health, part of your peace. And starting today, you can reclaim the rest you deserve. So tonight, when you glance at the clock at 3 or 4, don't despair. Remember what we discussed here. Breathe deeply. Return to yourself. You may not fall asleep immediately, but you will have begun a different journey, one of understanding, care, and small acts that make a big difference. Now tell me, what will you try tonight? Has something already worked for you that you'd like to share with others? Leave it in the comments. I'm here to read you, and others can benefit from your experience. Thank you for staying with me, for listening with an open heart. See you soon in another space of calm, reflection, and well-being. Until then, sleep deeply and rest as you deserve.